We got a special show for you today.
We do.
What up, what up, what up? What's happening? Que lo que mi gente. Welcome to Love, Purpose, and Passports. Hope all is well and all the passport ready, a passport getting ready. For those of you that don't know, I am Mr. Pro for you, living in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. With this fine little canary yellow of mine right here. Wasn't supposed to say that. Then she gonna come out wearing that. You know what I'm saying? Miss Pro for you.
Hi, hello, saludos, everyone.
So how you doing, Miss Pro?
I'm doing wonderful, mi amor.
I wasn't even gonna ask you this time. I was gonna get right into it. You know what I'm saying? You come out here looking like this, I had to break protocol.
Oh no.
So, as you were saying, Miss Pro for you, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, mi amor. Thank you for asking me, mi amor. How are you?
I'm doing great. I had to ask so they didn't have to just see me just sitting over here looking over here for nothing.
Okay.
Wow. So today,
He's the best. Ay, qué lindo.
we got a special show for you today.
We do.
Here's the thing. When people think of the Dominican Republic, they think of things like the beautiful beaches, baseball, and music. But Dominican music is more than just entertainment. It's history, it's identity.
And every rhythm tells a story about the island, its African heritage, its Spanish influence, and the everyday lives of the people who created these sounds.
In this video, we're exploring the roots of Dominican music. Not the modern urban sounds you might hear today, but the genre that built the foundation of the Dominican culture. Merengue and Bachata.
Two rhythms that started in two very different places, but eventually became the heartbeat of an entire nation. Qué lindo.
Merengue is widely recognized today as the national music of the Dominican Republic. I was here like a couple years before I, figured out merengue. I didn't even know that. Miss Pro told me.
Yeah, I had to let him know.
I thought all they had was bachata. You know what I'm saying? What did I know? You know what I mean? But it didn't start that way. Merengue was born in a rural countryside during the 19th century, particularly in the Cibao. Did I say it right? Cibao?
Wonderful pronunciation. Say it again.
Cibao.
Ooh.
In the Cibao region.
He grew from a mix of cultures that shaped the Dominican Republic itself. African rhythms, Spanish melodies, and the musical traditions of rural Dominican communities. Early merengue was played with simple, very powerful instruments. The tambora, which is a drum, the guira, and eventually the accordion.
Interestingly, the accordion was not originally Dominican.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? We would have never thought this. It arrived in the Caribbean in the late 1800s through German merchants who were trading in the region.
Rural musicians quickly adopted the instrument. It was portable, it was loud enough for outdoor gatherings, and it blended perfectly with the Dominican percussion. That combination created sound of what we now know as merengue típico, or often called Perico Ripiao.
There's several stories about where the name Perico Ripiao actually came from. One popular story says the name came from a small bar that was known as Perico Ripiao. Musicians frequently played there, and over time, people began referring to the fast accordion music they heard as the music from Perico Ripiao.
Another explanation, which is a little funkier and a little more colorful, it's like when you translate the term Perico Ripiao, loosely translated, Perico means parrot, and Ripiao, I guess, means ripped or shaken, or according to Dominican folklore, the name captured the wild, energetic sound of the music. Fast, chaotic, and full of life. Almost like a squawking little parrot that you take and kind of shake around. So it's kind of where the name came from. Whether the story came from a bar or from the character of the music itself, the name stuck. And today, Perico Ripiao remains one of the most recognizable forms of traditional Dominican merengue.
In its early days, merengue wasn't embraced by everyone. In fact, many members of Dominican high society, they rejected it. The upper class preferred European ballroom music like the waltz and the polka. I think they use the accordion in the polka too. Interesting. I think so. Yeah. Merengue, though, with its fast rhythms and rural roots, was seen as crude, even inappropriate.
Yeah, so for many years, there was like a cultural divide. The elites, they danced to European music, and the people danced to merengue. What began as countryside music slowly spread from village celebrations to towns and cities across the country. Eventually, merengue would become something much, much bigger.
One of the most important turning points in Dominican musical history came during the rule of Dominican President Rafael Trujillo. When Trujillo came into power in 1930, he promoted merengue as a symbol of Dominican identity. Radio stations began playing merengue regularly. Public celebrations featured merengue bands, and orchestras began developing a more polished style merengue known as merengue de orquestra.
Pronunciation is getting so good. But the promotion of merengue under Trujillo was not always voluntary, okay? Many musicians were expected to write songs praising Trujillo and his government. Bands, hoping to gain radio play or government favor, often created lyrics celebrating Trujillo's leadership and his power. In this way, merengue became more than just entertainment. It also became a tool of political messaging, one of the clearest examples of government shaping a music genre as part of a national identity.
As the genre evolved, new artists helped bring merengue into the modern era. One of the most influential performers was Yoni Ventura. Ventura transferred merengue performances by introducing choreography, stage energy, and dynamic showmanship.
Suddenly, merengue wasn't just music to dance to, it became a full stage experience. Later, artists continued expanding the genre's reach. Figures like Wilfredo Vargas helped bring merengue to audiences across Latin America and the Caribbean. And internationally, few Dominican artists have had greater impact than Juan Luis Guerra, whose music blended merengue, bachata, jazz, and Caribbean rhythms into a sound that reached listeners worldwide.
Now, while merengue was becoming the national symbol of Dominican music, another genre was quietly growing in the background. That genre was bachata.
Bachata emerged in the early 1960s, but unlike merengue, it was not initially celebrated. Instead, bachata developed in working class neighborhoods, small bars, and rural communities. The music was heavily influenced by Cuban bolero and traditional romantic guitar music.
The typical instruments were simple: lead guitar, rhythm guitar, bongos, and the guira.
But the defining feature of bachata was the emotion in the lyrics. The songs often spoke of heartbreak, loneliness, lost love. And because of these themes, early bachata became known as music de amargue, like music of like bitterness or sadness, kind of similar to like the blues that they have in America.
Yeah. And didn't you tell me something about some cutting your wrist style bachata? You know, that's that one that's past sad. That's when it's just over, right? When
they have a series of bachata that are called corta vena that are so like sad. The artist is like cutting their veins and just, dying of depression. And, those are really emotional, sad, Okay.
So fellas,
I need 2 to 3 bottles of rum with this one.
So fellas, you thought it was just you that was sad sometimes.
There's a whole genre of sadness.
Yeah, they're sad too. One of the first to professionally record this style of music was José Manuel Calderón. In 1962, Calderón recorded such songs as Borracho de Amor and Condena. At the time, the music wasn't even called bachata yet. It was often described as bolero campesino or rural bolero.
Yeah. The recording session itself was relatively modest. It was organized by a radio producer who believed the guitar-driven style deserved to be documented. No one involved in that recording session realized that they were capturing what would eventually be recognized as the birth of an entirely new Dominican genre.
For many years, bachata carried a heavy social stigma. The music was often associated with bars, brothels, and working-class nightlife.
Because of that reputation, many Dominican radio stations refused to play it. For much of the 1960s and the 1970s, bachata recordings were mostly heard on small local stations or late-night broadcasts.
Yet despite the rejection, the music continued to grow. It's like they were both the hip-hop of Dominican Republic. Came in like that, rejected first, right? Interesting. People played it in the neighborhood bars, in colmados, and at gatherings throughout the country. Even when the mainstream ignored it, the audience never disappeared.
Yep. Over time, bachata began evolving. New artists refined the sound, improved recording quality, and modernized the instrumentation. One of the most influential figures in the transformation was Anthony Santos, whose style helped bring bachata to wider audiences across the Dominican Republic.
Another key figure was Luis Vargas, who helped shape the modern guitar-driven sound of the genre. Slowly but surely, bachata moved from the margins of Dominican society into the mainstream, and eventually it spread beyond the island.
He played so well that they said that he could make his guitar cry and talk.
Nice.
Today, artists like Romeo Santos have helped bring bachata to global audiences. What was once considered music of heartbreak and hardships has become one of the most internationally recognized Latin genres.
Now, of course, merengue and bachata are not the only traditional sounds of the Dominican Republic. The island has a rich musical heritage that includes other important styles as well.
One example is mangulina. It's a traditional folk rhythm often associated with rural celebrations and community dances. Another is son dominicano, a style that shares similarities with son cubano or Cuban son and helped influence early Dominican dance music.
These genres may not have reached the same global popularity as merengue and bachata, but they're still an important part of the country's musical foundation.
And in a future episode, we'll explore these lesser-known rhythms and the role they played in shaping Dominican culture.
The story of Dominican music is a story of transformation. Merengue began as rural music, once rejected by the elites, yet it became the national rhythm of the country.
Bachata began as music played in small bars and working-class neighborhoods, yet today it fills arenas around the world. Both genres reflect the resilience, creativity, and cultural identity of the Dominican people, and together they help shape the sound of a nation.
So, Miss Pro, for you,
What?
how'd you like this episode?
I love this episode. I had so much fun talking about it. Music plays such a big part in all of our lives, and music, we have such an emotional connection to the beats and the rhythms and the music and the songs, and they bring such wonderful memories. That doing this video today was just a great experience, and it had a really good feel to it. Like nostalgic, like, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
You know, we loved this episode. We hope you did too. Guess what you can do for us, as we would do for you if it was your video. So, what we want you to do is, we want you to like
And subscribe.
Love, purpose, and bachata.
Love, purpose, and
merengue. Peace.
Come on, if we're gonna say like and subscribe, you have to say like and subscribe. You can't say we want you to do, and then after that we want you to this, and after that we want you to that. Like, get to the like and subscribe, or at least tell me that you're gonna say things before the like and subscribe, because I'm liking and subscribing and you're not liking and subscribing with me.